Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to this webinar. Just to say up front, as you'd expect, we are recording it, so hopefully that's okay with everyone. If it's not, then please drop off now, and obviously the recording will be available after this for people's reference. Winfo, for people who don't know, is a global Oracle partner, and as you'd hope, we have the expertise across the applications, including eBusiness Suite, and also on the technology side, so across all of the OCI capabilities as well. So we're doing a series of webinars focused on getting the most out of the eBusiness Suite investment that many of you have in place. And we feel that there's more there than people are currently taking advantage of. So my role, I'm the Chief Digital Officer. I'm responsible for the solutions that we have as Winfo that we bring to our customers on top of the Oracle based products. Today, we've got two people who will be handling the presentations. First of all, welcome Nadia, who's always a great person to have as a panelist, VP Product Strategy at Oracle. She's going to take you through a whirlwind tour. I've seen all the slides. You're going to need to buckle up. There's a lot of information in there, and it's all really relevant. So looking forward to that. And then Shubham will wrap up from a Winfo perspective and talk about how we can help you to take advantage of some of the things that Nadia has done for us. So briefly, the time frame. You get very little of me, which is great. As I said, Nadia, we've planned for 20 minutes, but if it overruns, it overruns. Nadia very much is the centerpiece here. And then we've got 10 minutes or so for Shubham, and then another sort of 10 minutes or so for Q&A. Please put the Q&A as we go into the Q&A on Zoom. We'll then get a chance to see those as panelists. Some of them will answer within the Q&A window. Some of them will talk through at the end. If there's more than we can get through on this call, then we'll follow up offline. So enough from me. I'd like to welcome Nadia and pass you over. Nadia.
Thank you very much, Winfo, in general. Thank you, Mark, in particular, for the opportunity to share our EBS update with our common customers. And the most important thing, really, I want to reinforce here as a starting point is the Oracle long-term commitment to eBusiness Suite customers. Many of them continue to rely on EBS to run some of the most critical businesses they have. For those who don't know who I am, my name, as Mark said, Nadia Benyoussef. I have been running the eBusiness Suite strategy at Oracle. I've been with Oracle for as long as I remember, close to 35 years. Most of the time, I've been with the eBusiness Suite development. So next slide, please. So I'd like to begin with, please, can you go to the next slide? I'd like to begin with the EBS roadmap. This is a very important message I want everybody to take away today, is that our strategy remains consistent. We deliver ongoing innovation on release 12.2 without really requiring customers to undertake costly or heavy upgrade projects. This has been our message since the beginning of 12.2. If you look at this timeline, you will see that we have a steady stream of EBS releases since 12.2.3 through our very latest release, the 12.2.15 that came only in October last year. Every release we bring delivers new business capabilities, sometimes technology investment, sometimes usability improvement, security enhancement, and most importantly, customer-driven functionality. Customers raise enhancement requests through the various media, whether we are connecting with the customer directly or through our ideation platform. We take those feedback and enhancement requests seriously and we evaluate them and see if we can add them in the next release or releases. So the strategy really has served our customers extremely well, I believe, and it remains the foundation of our roadmap going forward. So this is really one big strategy message from us in EBS and Oracle. Next slide, please. I would say another important aspect of our strategy, in addition to releasing new EBS updates every 12 months, as you have seen with the timeline, another aspect that is extremely important in our strategy is trying to modernize the technology foundation and the e-business suite. If you remember moving or updating the technology stack from 10G application server to Fusion Middleware 11G meant we had to release a totally new EBS release called 12.2. And that meant a major upgrade project that's very costly, very heavy on the customers. So those days are basically gone. We cannot afford putting our customers through such a heavy upgrade project. Hence, the new approach and new shift on how we deliver innovation in EBS with the new updates and new functionality, as I mentioned, without without pushing customers to do another major upgrade. And this is what we talk about, the next generation of technology stack. And also many customers have asked us they want us to take advantage of the newer releases of the technology like the Fusion Middleware 14C and wanted to maintain the same EBS application footprint. So really the answer has been our next generation technology stack project, which we started quite a while back. It is a big project. It has started many years ago, and we are coming to the end of that. Hopefully, we will see first early customers before the end of this calendar year. We have been experimenting that with our OMCS managed service customers, and we feel confident that we will go live with the new technology stack before the end of the calendar year if the customer is happy and no issues are found. So this initiative really allows the customer to modernize the technology stack and the technology component, at the same time preserving the application code. So you keep your EBS code, you keep your customization, you keep your business processes, but you also gain access to a modernized technology foundation built on the current Oracle technology, namely Fusion Middleware 14C. I will talk a little bit more about that, but I wanted to highlight it as it is a very important aspect of our strategy. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So one of the questions we get often from our customers is, what is the Oracle long-term commitment to e-business suite? The answer is very clear. Oracle continues to extend the premium support for 12.2. If you remember back in 2019, we had our support was committed to through 2030, and we kept adding a year every year through 2035. Last year, we extended support through 2036, and only beginning and early this year, I think it was March, April timeframe, we announced the premium support extension to and through at least 2037. What makes this is special and very important is that Oracle maintains also the what we call the rolling 10 plus year support commitment. This means customers can, with confidence, plan a long-term investment, knowing that Oracle remains committed to the EBS. Many of our customers operate critical business processes that require stability, confidence, predictability, and the support timeline provides exactly that confidence. They know that they have at least 10 years. They know that Oracle is not going to leave them behind. This really demonstrates that Oracle commitment not only to maintain EBS, but we are continuing to enhance and support it for many, many years to come. So that is very strong and very attractive to our EBS customers. Next slide, please. This slide, I wanted to reinforce another key point here, which is while we continue to release new functionality and maintaining the support and security baseline, if you remember back in July 2024, we announced officially that the error correction baseline for eBusiness Suite moved from 12.2.3 to 12.2.7. We did that in collaboration with the user group and support councils for EBS customers. And that decision was taken in collaboration with those teams, believing that the majority of our customers are beyond 12.2.7, or at least at a minimum 12.2.7. So we believe that focusing our effort on 12.2.7 and above will serve our customer base and the majority of our customer base better, because we are focusing on where the majority of our customers are. It doesn't mean if you are below 12.2.7, you are not supported. You are supported, of course, and you get critical CPUs and security patches, etc. The only thing you won't get if you are below 12.2.7 is all this new innovation when it comes to the certification and the technology stack, which then means that the message here, customers really should continue moving forward to stay current with the EBS recommended baseline and take advantage of the ongoing enhancement. Customers have been asking me whether 12.2.7 is whether the 12.2.7 baseline is going to maintain forever, or we will see another change in the baseline. I mean, I cannot tell you today, but I would not be able to say that it will stay forever. It doesn't make sense for the majority of our customer, meaning today the error correction baseline is 12.2.7, but we do believe that that will be elevated to a later release based on where our customers releases and where our customers are in their releases. So if the majority of our EBS customers are on 12.2.10, we probably would need to update the error correction baseline release to something definitely higher than 12.2.7. So 12.2.7 is what is today since July 2024. It doesn't mean it will not change in the future. So the message here, keep current to get the new functionality, keep current to get a new certification with the technology, with the testing, with the security patches, and future technology stack readiness and certification. That is really my point here. Next slide, please. So there are a couple of things that I want to highlight in this call today, which is what we believe our key strategy highlight. There are three things. And if you go away from this presentation, remembering three things, this is it. We want to make sure that our customers are taking advantage of the new capabilities that come every 12 months. And I am sure with partners like Winfo, they will be able to discover and explore those capabilities and see how they are applicable to you and how they can enable them and implement them in your environment. That is definitely there is a significant value available today in those 12 months innovation every year. So every year we bring in new capabilities from a business perspective, from a technology enhancement I talked about early on. And that hasn't changed. We have been doing that since the beginning of 12.2. The second item here on the agenda is really about the security. In today's era where security has become the highest important topic and priority in many organizations, it's like it's not like it's an option. Security is no longer an option. Organization must stay current. They must apply security updates. They need to follow the secure configuration guidelines from Oracle. They need to reduce the exposure to the risk and vulnerability. You need to apply the security patches. You need to enable the security features that Oracle has provided. So those things are not necessarily new, but I think it's about the scale and the urgency. Customers need to be updated. I'll talk more about the security aspect. The third thing is about the next generation technology stack, which I highlighted at the beginning of the deck. So those are the three strategy highlights that you will hear us talk about, these three things for the next few years. Let's drill down on each one individually. Okay, So the first one, when we talk about continuous innovation, what does it mean actually? It means significant enhancement across every major functional area. If you see on this slide, I'm not going to test you at the end, but this is an eye chart. Whether you are an organization using financial or procurement, supply chain, manufacturing, project, service, HCM or asset or manufacturing, we really have delivered continuous and substantial investment. We have expanded the enterprise command centers across the suite. We have modernized user experience through new HTML interfaces. We have introduced a new mobile application with a new technology foundation like JET. We have delivered machine learning capabilities in some areas like service and asset management. We have enhanced our REST API. I mean, API is probably it's a boring topic, but it's one of the most important topics in many organizations because customers are not running EBS alone. They are running EBS and the rest of the ecosystem. So integration is very, very important to all organizations. So enhancing the APIs or adding new APIs is a big thing. We obviously have improved the reporting, we have improved our automation, the workflow, the analytics, and in general, the operational efficiency. What is especially important is that these enhancements are not really concentrated in one single area. They span the entire suite as shown in this slide to really help customers derive value from their existing EBS investment. When customers ask whether Oracle is still investing in EBS, hopefully the answer is very clear and evident in this slide, although this is just a small key enhancement, and we have not really talked about every enhancement we have been bringing over the years in the 12.2. If we look at what we have done just lately in the 12.2.15, next slide, please. This slide here shows just some of the key highlights we have delivered last October with the 12.2.15. You see across financial, we introduced a new reconciliation dashboard and lease accounting enhancement. In procurement, we expanded the supply management capabilities. In project, we added workflow approval for expenditure and draft invoices. In manufacturing, we introduced the biggest thing called the cost planning and margin analysis. We enhanced the scheduling capabilities and the quality management. In logistics, we expanded machine learning-driven prioritization and warehouse management. In asset lifecycle management and service, we also introduced AI and machine learning to generate work orders, summaries, and service summary using AI. In the technology side, across the application technology, we delivered the Redwood UI, the enhancement that we have done in the enterprise command center personalization capabilities. Those are just some examples we have added in one single release, which we delivered last October, release 12.2.15. Hopefully with these two slides gives you a demonstration about our continuous commitment of delivering, hopefully, something meaningful to most of our EBS customers. Now, often enough, people say, where do I learn more about this functionality? In the past, and if you remember, we used to respond with RCD, which is a release content document. We used to talk about the TUIs, which were great, by the way. However, those were behind the firewall, which means that if you want to know about what's new in manufacturing, you need to go to the RCD, get an inventory of all the feature function in manufacturing, and then you go to the TUI to see a particular feature. This is all behind the firewall, which is great. However, in today's age and today's era where AI is fundamental, customers want to be able to use ChatGPT and ask, what's new in financials in 12.2.15? But you cannot do that. ChatGPT cannot, or any AI tools in the market cannot find that information because the information in RCD and TUI are behind the firewall. So you are actually blocked by but the fact the delivery model of what's new in EBS was really very protected and beyond the firewall. That era has to change, and today we have moved to what we call what's new homepage. This is the same approach that our Fusion team have been using. So now you have a homepage called EBS What's New homepage, where it gives you this site. It gives you uh, what's a new document by product family. For example, if you are looking in manufacturing, it shows you what's new in manufacturing. It shows you the feature documentation, the by product family update, the release specific information, and also the site give you an indication about future direction. There is something called a line there, what's next resources. And one thing we are also working on is the feature catalog, which is planned, which is basically like a browser and search features across releases. So you could say, for example, I am using project and I want to see what's new in project since 12.2.8, because I am running 12.2.8 and I want to see what's new that I can use from 12.2.8 all the way to 12.2.15. So this is a very easy way of browsing and searching features across releases, across product families. The feature catalog is planned, it's not out yet. And even what's new, what's next resource section in that on the left-hand side, that is in the work. It's small for the moment, but we have lots of great ideas that we want to develop in that section. In the new document, we have done it for 12.2.15. We have done it more recently, just before the Ascent conference for 12.2.14, 12.2.13, and I believe 12.2.12. I need to check on that. But we are going backward all the way to 12.2.4, basically. So we are, it's going to take us a little bit of time, but we are converting all our RCDs and TOIs, as you have known in the past, to what's new approach, and we are going backwards. So we have done the latest, and we are going backward to all the way to 12.2.4. Okay, so that's how you learn more about the new capabilities that they come every 12 months. So the next topic is very important, and that's about security. So I'd like to shift the focus to security. Security has always been important, but the reality, if you go to the next slide, please. The security, as I said, has always been important, but the reality is that the threat landscape has changed dramatically over the last few years. So we do have new recommendations. Actually, they are not new recommendations. They are recommendations that have already existed. But what has changed is the urgency. The speed, the scale, the sophistication of attacks today are unlike anything we have seen before. That is why securing your EBS environment has become one of the three major topics in EBS strategy presentation going forward. If you remember historically, security teams were primarily concerned with targeted attacks. So an attacker would identify a particular organization, conduct research, attempt to explore the vulnerability. Those threats still exist, but what is new today is organizations face continuous automated attacks at scale. The attackers now, it's not a human being like they have done in the past, and a human being would have not been able to find vulnerabilities in software for million years. Now it's not a human being who is actually finding those vulnerabilities. They are automation. So attackers use automation, machine learning. They use AI technologies to scan the internet continuously for vulnerabilities. So they do not actually necessarily know who you are as an organization. They simply know if there is a vulnerability somewhere, the tools they are using will eventually find it. So the barriers of launching the attack has become dramatically low. What used to be very significant skills and expertise, now all of that can be automated. So organization must really assume that they are being scanned continuously. That's why secure configuration recommendation we are making today and applying the patches have become so critical. The difference today is not the new guidelines. The difference is the speed and scale of the threat. That is why we have to become faster than the automation being used by the hackers. So if Oracle is applying, next slide, please. Oracle is applying AI not only for the business application, but also for security. And our security focus today is really two areas, in fact, two complementary areas. One is we need to detect, and we are using AI-powered detection, AI tools to detect vulnerabilities. Secondly, and that's not enough by itself, secondly, we need to repair and we need to fix those vulnerabilities and provide patches as fast as we can. And the combination, and basically the customer need to apply those fixes as soon as possible. So the things we have been working on is making sure that the second part of the strategy, which is delivering the protection quickly, basically meaning we need to continue to apply the quarterly CPU patches, but also now what is new is monthly critical security patch update, monthly CSPU. And this is what has become very important as a recommendation from Oracle. So the two things, AI powered detection, and then fixing the vulnerabilities, delivering the patches, and the customer needs to apply those patches. Next slide, please. One of the points that we would like to emphasize is that security is a shared responsibility here. So, and that shared responsibility depending how the patching works and who managed your environment. In a SaaS deployment, like Fusion, you have the Oracle monitors the infrastructure, the platform service, the SaaS application. Oracle does this, the system is automatically kept to date, and Oracle applies security fixes as they become available. That is when the environment is managed by Oracle, like a SaaS environment. Now, on-prem application like the e-business suite, it is basically depending who is managing that e-business suite. If it is you as a customer or through your partners, then the responsibility is whoever is managing that environment. So it is really critical that you monitor your system and the configuration. That is like network and EBS system security. It is critical that you keep your system current. It is also critical that you obtain and apply the patches as soon as they become available. If you notice, the June CSPU has already been out. Hopefully, hopefully customers have been applying those. And from my understanding, though, these CSPU patches are going to become like out every third Tuesday of the month. So the third Tuesday of July, the third Tuesday of August, the third Tuesday of September, the third Tuesday of October. So that's the current planning. So that is the new strategy for the CSPU. Now, next slide, please. Just to summarize, the Oracle recommendation is keep current the whole stack. So from the EBS release to the product release, the infrastructure, the technology stack, the database, the Fusion middleware, the every part of the stack where you are running your e-business suite. You need to apply the security patches quarterly, the CPU, monthly, the CSPU, as well as the other security patches that become without any delays. You need also to make sure you keep updated with the EBS wraps, the family wraps, product family wraps, as well as the technology, ATG, we call them the AT technology product family, and the AD and TXK, those are fundamental. You really need to keep them updated at all time. That has always been our recommendation, but today more than ever before. And you obviously need to make sure you are really deploying, following some of the secure configuration guidelines that Oracle provides. And we provide lots of documentation describing those security settings, and they are available. And not only they are available, we help the customers to see how to maintain them. There are tools like, for example, one thing that we talk a lot about is allowed resources. Often enough that customers are running, or at least they are running, they have an installation for manufacturing, which is part of the installation in Gen, but they don't use manufacturing. So it is important you deny resources for things you don't use, or for functionality you don't use, maybe customization that you don't use anymore. But most of the customers say, how do I know? So we do help customers with the console, which I talk about, but also other capabilities, security capabilities that already exist in EBS beyond the allowed resources is URL firewall, access control, the DMZ capabilities. All of those things have been available. I think it's many things, I'm repeating myself. Those recommendations are not new. We are reinforcing the use of those recommendations today more than ever before. So I talked about the resources. If you go to the next slide, please. So I talked about the secure configuration console. This is some of the tools I mentioned, the secure configuration console. What it does, it performs like a security assessment of your environment. It almost like does a scan and identifies the areas of attention that requires your attention. Think of it as a dashboard for evaluating your security posture. While as Oracle continued bringing update on security guidelines, customers really should ensure that they are running the latest available version by staying current with the EBS CPU, the application technology update, and EBS release update. And the secure configuration console helps many customers verify that the recommendation that Oracle made are actually in place. And that is really a responsibility of the customer. If you go to the next slide, I will show some of the capabilities here. So one capability I want to specify is allowed resources. This is the most powerful security control available within EBS today. Allowed resources enables your administrator to control access at the product family level. You can explicitly allow or deny access to resources based on business requirement. So the principle is very simple. If a resource is not needed, it should not be exposed. So reducing the exposure reduces the risk. This capability really makes it easy to implement across the whole environment. So for example, here, I don't know, I think you can click again because it's a build-up slide. So you select a family name, and then you click on how you check out the enable or disable the resource for that particular product family. As simple as that. So if you are not using something, then disable it. Because if you think what you are not using is not at a risk, you think twice, because if you are not using something, that is probably your vulnerability. If you go to the next slide, please. Here is what the allowed resources gives you. This one, can you click on it? Has built up. Yeah. So this, for example, it shows you the date when it started collecting data. It collects data of your environment, and it tells you, if you click again, it shows you the activities that has been not used. So after so many years collecting the data, your admin can literally identify the resources that have never been used. Those unused resources can be disabled, like I have showed you in the previous slide. This is an excellent example of a practical security improvement. So rather than guessing what should be disabled, customers can actually use this tool to make very intelligent decision based on the actual use of the data that has been collecting using this allowed resources. So the recommendation is very simple. If you have not reviewed the allowed resources recently, I would say this is one of your priority. If you go to the next slide, then that is really more on security guidelines we have published recently. It talks about, this is more like an FAQ, security updates, the secure configuration, some of the best practices, etc., all in one single knowledge-based note that is at the bottom of this screen. So this is traded to highlight the security has become a huge message from Oracle in general, and without a doubt from e-business suite development for our customers to be wary, to be following the CSPU and apply them monthly. As I said, they will be coming every third Tuesday of each month. And the last topic, which I already hinted to, is about preparing for the next generation technology stack. I talked about, next slide, please. We have been working on the next generation technology stack for a long time. So as I mentioned earlier on, currently today we use the classic technology stack, which is basically whenever we update the technology stack, historically, we have to go to a new release. So we are not doing that anymore. This is what we call the classic technology stack. Fundamentally, if you are on a 12.2, you are running Fusion Middleware 11G. If you are running on 12.1, and that's very minor, like a handful of customers, they are obviously running the application server 10G. So moving forward within the EBS 12.2 release, we are moving to a new paradigm where we are updating the technology stack. Please click on it to build up here. To go to the Fusion Middleware 14C without changing the application code. You see here, you are if you are on a 12.2.15 and you uptake the Fusion Middleware 14C, your application code stays still 12.2.15. This is what we call a tech stack update. So this basically allows you to modernize the technology while you are keeping your application code. Okay, so the technology stack, the next generation technology stack, as I said, it's not available yet. So that's why it has a highlight of a roadmap. And that's because it's a huge project that we have been working on. As I said, we are hoping to get the first customers managed by Oracle live before we make it available to our customers. However, getting ready for it cannot wait. You can start making your environment ready for the next generation technology stack as we speak. And that takes me to the next slide, which basically talks about the process of how you can get the process of updating the technology stack. This is the approach. The process is intentionally designed to be straightforward and it's predictable. We describe it basically in 4 steps. So step 1, you need to begin reviewing the readiness requirement. So this is where we talk about prepare and ensuring the prerequisite for the next generation technology stack are complete. I will come to that in a minute. The second thing, so you prepare your environment, it's ready for the new technology stack. The second one is we will ask the customer to generate and upload your environment manifest. So your current files from Oracle, the version of the files that Oracle gave you and the ones you are running today, that is basically your manifest. So we ask you to generate and upload your environment manifest to my Oracle support. Oracle development will take your manifest, will recompile it with Fusion Middleware 14C and everything we need to do, and then put it back to you in a stage area where that is stage 3, where we stage it back to you. We compile it, we do whatever it needs to be done with your the version of the code that you have, we compile it, we regenerate it, and we put it in the staging area. Now, once it is on your stage area, you as a customer, with the help of the partner like Winfo, download that manifest, updated with the Fusion Middleware 14c, compiled everything, and then you basically you deploy that new manifest using the online patching. So it's basically, you are going to be applying it as any patch you are doing in 12.2 using the online patching mechanism. So that is the process. Now I talked about the prepare, which is the most important thing you can do today. So the message here, you do not need to wait. These activities you can begin today. There are several requirements for readiness to be completed while your system is up and running and you use it, etc. There are certain things you need to do. First, the first thing you need to, as a prerequisite, you need to be at the lowest. You need to be the lowest 12.2.7 or higher, meaning, you remember I talked about 12.2.7 being the error correction baseline. So that is basically where the certification of the Fusion Middleware 14c applies. We will not do that below 12.2.7. That is why 12.2.7 being the error correction baseline is extremely important. So you need to make sure your environment is a 12.2.7 or higher. You need to migrate your application, your analytics from BI Publisher to Oracle Analytics Publisher. We have made this available a while back. If you have still not migrated from BI Publisher to Analytics Publisher, then that is one of the prerequisites you need to do before you run your modernization for Fusion Middleware 14c. The third thing is you need to be on Linux 8. Linux 8 becomes the strategic operating system platform for the next generation technology stack, meaning customers should include Linux modernization for their planning effort. So if you are not running Linux today, or you are running Linux 7 or whatever Linux before 8, then you need to move to Linux 8. If you are running Sun Solaris or IBM AIX or HP UX or Windows, you do need to make sure your application tier is on Linux. And therefore, that is a preparation you have to do. And the other thing is you need to update your application technology stack. That is basically some of the ATG product family, C Delta 14. That is the thing you need to do from a technology perspective. And of course, if you have not yet completed your EBS system schema migration, again, something we have delivered a few years ago, maybe some customers still have not completed that migration. That is definitely a prerequisite for the next generation technology stack. Next, please. So next slide, please. So to summarize and help the customer assess their readiness, again, customers say, how do I know if my environment is next generation technology stack enabled? So we do, for that purpose, we actually providing something called the next generation technology stack readiness checker. It's a utility which evaluates and scans your environment and identifies any outstanding prerequisite, and you need to apply those prerequisites as you go along. So you can run the checker as many times as you need to, which basically discovers any issues before you actually run your migration to the next generation technology stack. So even if you are not doing the uptake of the next generation technology stack this year or early next year, preparing for it, especially there are some fundamental changes like the Linux 8, like the BI publisher, like the system schema, you need to be on 12.2.7 at the minimum, etc. Those things are, some of them are fairly heavy projects that you need to work with your partner like Winfo to start working on those. So let's talk about the changes. Next slide, please. So the changes here is, if you remember, EBS historically has supported a variety of operating system platform for the middleware technology. We used to have Linux, we used to have a Solaris, IBM AIX, Microsoft, HP, UX, etc. With the next generation technology stack, it will be only supported on Linux 8 only. So not only you're doing platform migration if you are not running Linux currently, but if you are running Linux pre-Linux 8, you need to be on Linux 8. So that is really important for customers to start doing. So customers, you have a number of deployment options. If you are not on Linux today, there are a number of options for you. You either Linux on premises, you could do Linux on OCR, you could do Linux on multi-cloud if you are running a multi-cloud hybrid with the multi-cloud strategy. But whatever model you choose, you need to make sure that those changes to Linux 8 is fundamental. Once that is a question, I already hear it from people saying, yeah, but I want Linux 9, etc. That will come later. You go and do the platform migration and move to Linux 8 first, and then upgrading Linux to the higher release, that will be a next project, which we are already working on. But fundamentally, you do the migration to the technology stack first. Okay, for that purpose, we have an FAQ that is available. It's the knowledge code is at the bottom. Everything I talked about, the prerequisite, the readiness, and how you get prepared and all of that, all is explained in that FAQ. And hopefully that is a great place to begin your modernization journey. And the last thing I would like to leave you with is really about what are our customers doing in 2026. I talked to many customers. People are looking at their UI, deploying the latest Redwood UI that we have added in 12.2.15. Customers are thinking about upgrading to database 26 AI, the Fusion Middleware 14c, which is what I was talking about, the next generation technology stack. They are expanding the use of ECC. There's a lot of innovation in that area. The innovation that we have in each release, I mean, I talked here and being generous here and optimistic, actually, 1,000 new features in 12.2. Actually, the last time I saw Mark, 1,000 is actually 6,000 last time I saw. So I'm leaving the slide to say higher than 1,000, but literally, when I start counting, it's much higher than that in the life of 12.2. So there is a lot of functionality and great value for many customers. And I think most customers will find something useful for them. And of course, the deployment of NLQ, Winfo are expert. If there is any partner I know and highlight when it comes to Ask EBS or natural language capabilities, they have been the first to adapt, to test it and experiment with it, implemented that customer, extending, customizing, building new domains. I think they are the number one partner I have seen over the last couple of years with building the skills with the EBS NLQ. Obviously, customers, hybrid is not new these days. Hybrid is more or less the word people are using. OCI hybrid, building a new application with Apex like NLQ, building AI application, moving to OCI. Those lots of things customers are doing, and you have the best partner to help you do all of the above. In fact, this slide here summarizes what Winfo can do, and they can help you with every bucket in box in this slide. And with that, thanks for listening. I know I talk a lot. I know I have too much to say, but hopefully it's useful for you guys.
Certainly is useful, Nadia, and thank you for that. There's a ton of information there. Already people were asking, will we share the slides? Absolutely, we will. So in terms of timing, we will close out under the hour to be respectful of people's time. Shubham, you've got like 5 minutes just to provide some highlights. Already Nadia was kind enough to reference some of the things that Winfo can do to help. But yeah, if in 5 minutes you can just give us some of the highlights from a Winfo perspective, and then we'll have a closeout and access to next steps.
Sure. Thanks, Mark. And thanks a lot, Nadia. That was a fantastic walkthrough. You've given a clear understanding of where Oracle eBusiness Suite is heading. So looking at the points that you covered, I think at the moment, the roadmap is quite strong, the platform is stable, and the direction is clear. The key question that comes about to our mind is, can we adopt it safely in our environment? And that's what I'm going to talk about in the next couple of minutes. I'm Shubham Zapati. I lead operational excellence at Winfo Solutions, and I'm going to talk about the challenges, opportunities, and the approach. Right. So I like to put one thing into perspective before I move on to the challenges, and which is often ignored. Now, Nadia shared a slide with the roadmap of the releases from 12.2.3 till 12.2.15. Now, if we look at the last 4 years, what has been delivered, you can see on the screen there are 4 major releases, 8 ECC dashboards, and one in every 6 months, 16 critical patches, 1 per quarter, and about 145 plus ECC dashboards and 350 plus features and animals. That's quite a lot. It has often been discussed that the innovation on EBS is quite slow, but rather it's accelerated. And you can see the graphs at the bottom to give you a picture. So I think with the licenses that most of the clients have, most of these features are already sitting with them in their environment. The question is, how much of it are they actually utilizing? Next slide, please. That brings me to the title of this session, Reinvigorate EBS. And I would like to stress on that word reinvigorate, because it's not about replacing EBS, and it's not about a big bang transformation. We are talking about activating value that's sitting already in your environment. And that includes new capabilities, visibility, improving visibility, stronger security, with minimal disruption. Now, we all know that EBS is stable, trusted, and mission critical, but most of the organizations are lagging behind because they haven't updated to the latest versions and they lag on the key functionalities. And when we speak to the clients, especially the business leaders, all they're looking for is better visibility, lower manual effort, and stronger security. Exactly the outcomes that the recent releases, as Nadia explained, have described, and they are designed to deliver. So these are the outcomes that you can expect in the recent releases and what exactly the senior leaderships are looking for. Now, the question is, how do we introduce change with confidence? Yeah, can you move to the next slide? Now, what exactly is the challenge? Why is it feel risky? I'll give you a scenario. Basically, if at all, let's say there is a technology upgrade or a patch fix is being proposed. So the key thing that the team starts thinking is the change will not be in a silo. It will impact multiple processes and teams. They're not clear on what will break, where will it break, when it will break, and they'll have lack of visibility on validations, overhead on manual regression. Testing is always a bottleneck. And because of these reasons, the management make decisions slowly. They have higher compliance effort, and the security is exposed. And that's the reason for low confidence, as well as people avoiding to upgrade to newer versions. Now, as you can see, the change directly is not a problem. It's the downstream impact of that change which is causing an issue. So how do we build confidence? So I think with our experience, it's the key shift is to we can start by shifting our perspective from changing the question, like, did the change work, or can the business still operate end to end? So giving it a business perspective, to be honest. Now, with that, you can imagine we can move away from looking at it as a technical component, but it's more of a business process or a critical business process. Moving away from an IT change to a change that is visible and controlled by the business process owner. And that's where the automated regression testing perfectly fits in. And that's how Winfo Test was also designed in the first place. It provides three key aspects. Visibility on what can be validated, and along with the proof, it provides control for the business owners and the team with repeated validation as soon as the EBS upgrades, and early warning whenever there are issues. In practicality, you can imagine your scripts being aligned to L1 business processes specifically designed for you. and they are also available in natural language, a single script execution, etc. So in principle, the simple thing is continuously validate the must never fail scenarios every time EBS changes. And doing that, you will see suddenly the picture that Nadia painted earlier becomes something actionable. And I leave you all with that thought. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mark.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for that, Shubham, and for getting through it in such a quick time. So effectively, if you're going to be changing lots of things, you need to have testing automated on the one hand, and it needs to have the confidence of the business because you're validating that the business outcomes won't be impacted by whatever changes, application or tech stack that we're making. So that's great. Thank you for that. Final slide. We provide, in terms of a what next, how do we do something about all of this? We provide a free EBS assessment, a picture of it on the right-hand side there, which runs within your environment, gathers information about the different elements from the operating system up through the technology stack, through into the application. Also looking at the Chemleys, etc., that are specific to you as a customer. Processes all of that, presents it back in a neat fashion, and looks at some recommendations on what you should be focused on in prioritization, what the impact of making one change is on another area, which gives us information that we can talk through with you in terms of next steps. You may run it. It may say you're fabulous, you're completely up to date, everything's good, nothing to do here, which is equally interesting information, hopefully. But there's the QR code. For anyone who's interested in that, please scan the QR code, and that'll take you through to provide your details, and we can contact you and have that with you in short order. We won't get to the Q&A. If you do have any Q&A, please make sure you log them here before disconnecting, in order that we can then answer them offline, and we will share some of those questions and answers back to you. So thank you very much to our speakers, especially to Nadia. You've given us a lot of things to think about, both in terms of right now and in terms of what's coming next. So a lot to process, all very clearly presented, and well organized, so we can follow up on it. So thank you for that, Nadia. And Shubham, you gave us the headlines, which is great. Go get yourself some automated testing. All right. And thanks everybody for time. We're just within our hour.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Shubham. Thanks to everybody.
Very good. Thank you.